Hello and welcome back to another Design League playthrough, and today we are playing through one by tpcsouthnine, and straight away you can see that we've got some sort of template influences. You've got a green over there which is sort of angular, we've got some church pews, we've got principal's nose, so it clearly leans into a lot of big architectural features. There's also this cool city skyline which I think works nicely, and what else was there? Yeah, we've got a shared green. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on here, so we can give this one a play and see how it works. Clearly in our 800 by 350 area as well, and like the way it's so hemmed into the city, like it gives you that real suburban feel. And there's like a lot of these short courses now that are in this sort of area, so lots of fun. Okay, straight away, using out of bounds all the way down is interesting. I mean, you have out of bounds. You have put markers here, but they're not the clearest, so I guess I would probably just suggest for future reference it's fine, but put your out of bounds markers a little away from the planting so that we can see them. Planting wise, I think sinking your bushes will make the world of difference, and this one I'm not sure that's big enough to make a difference. Spline work I think you can clean up. Like, my guess is you're using too few spline points. We can do this a little neater, and your grass is getting perilously close to the fairway, I would say here. Now, I think you also put two trees right on top of one another. But I do like the housing line. I do like, yeah, looking at the way the green slopes, the closer we place the out of bounds, probably the better angle we get. Although it's going to be a longer approach, so it's a bit of a trade-off. I do kind of wish this was a different hazard. Definitely too few spline points when we're looking at like it coming in here and then going straight line. Like, cleaning up your spline work I think will go a long way. Visually, it looks a little ragged. Sinking your bushes and having a few more of them will really help. It does just look a touch. I don't mean this as in, well, I guess I do. It does look a touch autogen, where it's just like these are the bushes that happen to be on the plot. They just don't ever look like they fit that well. So anyway, I think with this, and we've got this principal's nose trio here, I think I'm going to go down this way and kind of, we'll ignore the angle play because, oh, get over. Yeah, okay. Generally just going to prefer a shorter shot in. I am better swinging clubs. Now, flat bottom bunkers, they look good from a distance. Up close, yeah, these are really tough. I mean, you can see that the sand's rising up a bit this side, and these are just really difficult to get right. The trick is, I think you've done the first bit where you hammer the bottom flat. You then have to raise the inside of the pan. I think you've done it a bit up here. It just takes practice. I'm still not great at them. I've done probably two courses using them. Oh, did not want to slow. That's not going to be the nicest part. I think green slopes are good. Like, you've got some interesting pins. Well, one pin, 2, 3, I mean 4 maybe. Not sure. I would probably, if we're really nitpicking, I would probably want the top of this slope hammered flat a little bit more. Like, these red slopes are a little bit of a lie because there's no way, because it reads the whole of the grid square, so there's no way that one's ever going to be anything other than red. But you can see that it's starting to leak in from a little bit further. Like, you'd want balls landing and stopping here, not to roll back into heavy rough. Let's see how that does. It's not a bad line. But yeah, like the green slopes, they've added interest. They make sense, and they worked all the way back to the tee, which is good. Oh yeah, I do remember seeing that you'd put in like a full 18. We're obviously only playing the first 6. Okay, so we're now moving towards the lion's mouth, and right into the corner, and with out of bounds, and with the land sloping this way, I almost wish you'd put pin 1 over this side so people really get the... I guess for me, pin 1 is always a flavour pin. Yeah, again, your planting's encroaching onto your fairway, you want to avoid that. But this is great. I mean, if a big miss, I do not want to be pitching at this pin from here. That's going to be a nightmare. Yeah, you'd miss some grass here that I'm guessing is autogen. I also understand that you want balls to roll off and into the bunker. I don't know how well that works. I suspect quite a few of them get caught in the heavy rough just because of how the game works. And then this spine is really nicely placed, and a swale that to people who aren't looking, those aren't really hazards, but they're enough to make me think about where I want to hit my drive and make me be more precise. Same kind of comment with the planting, like it's there but it feels a bit ragged, like you can tie it together a bit more. Oh, we're going to be in that swale. And an uneven stance and an awkward pitch and cross slope, and yeah, that was just not a good shot. But that is. Okay, we'll take that. And I really like how you presumably put a pin behind the lion's mouth bunker, but given a way to access it, so that people can choose to just flop it over, or they could choose to hit up this slope and have it feed down, which works well. Oh, 154 is quite slow, but I guess it allows you to put boulder slopes on greens. I wouldn't really want you to go any slower than that. 2 good holes so far. Ah, the Biarritz. I say that, and it kind of isn't, and I mean, I guess more of a maiden. I like the desire to change it up a bit from a standard Biarritz, but I don't really think it's necessarily helped for other pins. Like this one, it's fine because we can hit into a valley and bank it off and play kind of half pipe golf and work it in there. But to a pin up here, I think this becomes just really tough. And what a Biarritz does normally when you're playing it from here is really forces that question of distance control, of just, do I have the right club and can I envision rollout? Whereas this one, it does and it doesn't. It still does that, whilst putting a bit more of a premium on accuracy laterally, which I like, but I just worry that this tier is a bit too narrow for the shot I would have to play in. Because if you're thinking the pin is there, not only do I have to land it in such a precise location, like look at where my marker is. If I'm getting to there, I don't want to go down this slope, and I also don't want to go down too far and go down here. So it strikes me that I'm requiring the absolute perfect shot to get to that one. This one is better, but that's the pin area that really, I guess, worry me. I think this one could produce some really fun golf though. Oh, I wanted a tiny bit of a partial. This might do. It's not too bad, and it's a very forgiving pin. Oh, missed that as well. But enjoying this so far is playing, like, more than anything, it's playing interestingly and making me think, which is always a good thing. Which one are we going? Okay, we're going to here. So sort of an inverted thumbprint green, which I guess you might see with a short normally. So it's a bit of a spin. Are we looking at, guessing from the tee shot, maybe a cape? I don't know. I definitely don't think these screens need to be joined. Like, they are by a mile separate enough, and if we've got pins back here, it's probably becoming a very disjointed hole with this huge slope down to it. I'm certain there will be a reason for it. Maybe it's doubling as a putting green. I can't see any little putting flags on there. Oh, hey well. Slow isn't what I want, but I mean, I will say fairways are very, very wide, and that is almost always, I would say, well, not, it is a good thing, providing width. It can make drives a little trivial if you don't hazard them enough, or don't reward the play up to the water enough. And actually for this pin, I would have been better served by playing further right again, further left even. So kind of, yeah, kind of like the first, you're asking to play out to the corner of the dogleg for this pin, but then for this pin we probably want to be playing closer to the water. Transitions you can clean up, like how this goes in. There's a tutorial on YouTube on Andre's channel. Well, that was an awful swing, and it may just be perfect. That's the worst swing I've made. But I really enjoy the green. I think your one little mound in the middle works really nicely. So, okay, road hole. Oh, I see. Do I see? Kind of feel that these are. I see why they're there. I would have lost probably one of the trees, this or this, in order to encourage people to play a bit more out left, because I think you might get people bailing out more and putting themselves in jail on the second shot if you under-hazarded this area a bit more. If you left this out all wide, you'll see people just hitting into here with abandon and leaving themselves that nasty pitch shot because they haven't really understood the whole strategy. Whereas I think if you over-hazard it, then you're going to get people more likely to try that line. Some of your sculpting here I think you can tidy up as well. If this is this raised or is this dropping down? Can't say I totally understand the pine straw either, but much for muchness. Good pin 1 because this really forces the strategy on this hole. Although I guess all your pins are kind of in the same location. I'm going to go over the. We'll leave a putt back down. Or a chip. It's fine. It was a better leave than short. Even if it doesn't look it from the slopes. Same thing with the grasses, just yeah, try to tidy them off. This is a lot of fun to play though. Okay, and our final one was a par 5. And you can clean up your sightline a little bit as well, just in terms of, it would be nice to see a little more of that bunker, which I know is going to be difficult because of the type of bunker it is. It does strike me that on this hole we've got a lot of different bunker styles going on. Like these are pot bunkers, which, well, I say we've seen one on this hole, and I guess it could be an ode to St Andrews and where some of these templates originally came from, but it feels a touch disjointed. I guess a bit of a narrows. Or I mean, obviously a hog's back there as well, which we've got some interesting green slopes, and that mound is really nicely placed because it does force me. Well, if I'm landing it short, then it's going to force me kind of off the green, which probably not the worst miss in the world. I'm just trying to look and seeing if there's any harm really being long. I don't think there is. I do still think this green is a bit too big, and I would far prefer it if it were disjointed, because I think you can then you could put a bunker long. I think that would work much better. I definitely do not want to be short. Let's just take the massive putt instead, and hopefully 2-putt from here. 122 feet. Technically in TGC tours land you would be able to chip that, but it's less fun. And it kind of defies the original intent of, like, you've left yourself a massive 2-putt. Yeah, like lots to like there, lots of fun. I think there's some sculpting and surfacing and certainly some planting stuff that I would look at. Um, but the ideas are there and the strategy is there and it plays interestingly, which is for me like the most important thing. I hope that this helped, and yeah, best of luck with the contest.